Welcome back everyone to another second stimulus check and second stimulus package update. In this video we have a few things to cover. We have to look at some new talks and discussions. We have to look at this upcoming Senate vote in the Republican Senate. And we also have a fiery exchange between Wolf Blitzer and the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi that's worth noting. It was a very heated debate, almost looked like the presidential debate between Biden and Trump. So you definitely want to stay tuned for that one. And before we get to the news, if you could just go ahead and click that like button for me, smash it, just to help with that YouTube algorithm. YouTube will push the video out to even more people. So just go ahead and click that like button for me. Also be sure while you're down there, go ahead and click that subscribe button, hit that big red button, and then also see that notification bell next to it. Click that notification bell as well. That way you're notified every time I do make a new one. So from what we know just today, as of this morning, we know that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin spoke on the phone, and they were basically discussing whether or not they want to take a piecemeal approach, a step-by-step, bit-by-bit, separate legislative approach to the next stimulus package, or do they want to just do one large, robust, comprehensive package that includes all the line items that each party wants to see? This is, of course, to effectively help the millions of Americans and small businesses that are still being ravaged by this virus. So a spokesperson for Nancy Pelosi called the discussions and talks, quote, productive, but we're still littered with issues that he called, quote, major areas of disagreement. And despite these slow movement other talks, the spokesperson does still believe that the talks will continue throughout Thursday. And this announcement just came on the heels after we had this stunning interview between Wolf Blitzer, the CNN anchor, and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi accused Wolf Blitzer of being, quote, an apologist for the Republican position, and this was during this fiery interview in which she became visibly frustrated with the anchor's questions. The fireworks all began when Wolf Blitzer asked rightfully of Nancy Pelosi, quote, why she won't accept the president's latest stimulus offer, to which she responded back, quote, I hope you'll ask the same question of the Republicans on why they don't want to meet the needs of the American people. But let me say to those people, because all my colleagues, we represent these people, and their needs are not addressed in the president's proposal. So when you say to me, why don't you accept theirs, why don't they accept ours? Blitzer then interjected, saying that Americans, quote, really need the money now, and then mentioned Representative Ro Khanna, who's a fellow Democratic colleague of Nancy Pelosi. They're good friends. And he had recently said, people in need can't wait until February. $1.8 trillion is significant and more than twice the Obama stimulus, referring to the 09 package. Make a deal and put the ball in McConnell's court. So Blitzer asked of Pelosi, so what do you say to Ro Khanna? And then she said, what I say to you is, I don't know why you're always an apologist, and many of your colleagues are apologists for the Republican position. She fired back, adding that Ro Khanna, that's nice. That isn't what we're going to do, and nobody's waiting till February. This contentious exchange continued when Blitzer repeatedly pushed Pelosi on why she won't accept the president's offer. He asked her, why not work out a deal with him and don't let the perfect, as they say here in Washington, be the enemy of the good? She said, well, I will not let the wrong be the enemy of the right. He said, what's wrong with 1.8 trillion? Then she got really fired up and said, you know what? Do you have any idea what the difference is between the spending that they have in their bill and what we have in our bill? She then went down a list of all of the issues that's wrong with the other side's proposal, to which he said, that is precisely why, Madam Speaker, it's so important right now. Yesterday I spoke to Andrew Yang, who says the same thing. It's not everything you want, but there's a lot there. It got bitter at this point. She said, but you know what, honest to God, I cannot get over it, because Andrew Yang, he's lovely, Ro Khanna, he's lovely. They are not negotiating the situation. They have no idea of the particulars. They have no idea of what the language is here. Tension continued to carry on to the very end of the interview. Blitzer attempted to wrap up the interview after the speaker accused him of defending the administration all this time. She said, we'll leave it on the note that you're not right on this, Wolf, and I hate to say that to you, but I feel confident about it, and I feel confident about my colleagues, and I feel confident in my committee chairs. He responded, it's not about me, it's about millions of Americans who can't put food on the table, who can't pay the rent, and who are having trouble getting by. She repeated several times over Blitzer, this is where it got very reminiscent of the recent presidential debate, and she said, and we represent them, we represent them. Blitzer reiterated, as we say, don't let perfect be the enemy of the good. She shot back, it is nowhere near perfect, we're not even close to the good. Thank you for your sensitivity to our constituents' needs. Blitzer said, I am sensitive to them because I see them on the street begging for food, begging for money. Pelosi said, have you fed them? We feed them. We feed them. This wasn't the first time that Pelosi lashed out on an anchor on live television regarding the stimulus package. Back in August, Pelosi had lashed out at the PBS NewsHour anchor Judy Woodruff and accused her of being a, quote, advocate for Republicans during another heated negotiating period on the relief. And we also have recent announcements from Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. McConnell is now saying that the Senate will vote next week on a standalone relief bill. This would provide funding for small businesses and thus help keep people employed as these businesses are struggling to get back on their feet still. This is coming subsequently after Trump said that he'd be in favor of larger funding, a bigger package than the Democrats. So Trump called on his aides to push the Senate Republicans to now vote on this narrowly focused coronavirus stimulus relief bill. So McConnell said on Tuesday that this bill would renew the Paycheck Protection Program, or the PPP, which would provide forgivable loans to small businesses who keep their workers on their payrolls. It would also include another unspecified targeted relief for American workers. Now, he didn't say whether the bill would include another stimulus payment to taxpayers. So next Monday, when senators return to Washington, that's when they'll start to vote on this measure. This announcement came after White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin asked congressional leaders to pass a bill to spend unused PPP funds, about another $130 billion left over from the CARES Act. And this is even while negotiations are still continuing on a broader measure to address the pandemic. Trump explicitly, vocally supported a broader measure as opposed to a more piecemeal approach. He put it very simply on Twitter yesterday on Tuesday at 11:01 a.m. All caps, stimulus, exclamation point, go big or go home, with 3 more exclamation points. Pelosi said Tuesday to her Democratic caucus that both sides still did remain far apart in talks, and said significant changes must be made to remedy the Trump proposal's deficiencies. I remain hopeful that the White House will finally join us to recognize the needs of the American people and take action to address the health and economic crisis in their lives. McConnell then went on to blame the Democrats and then also defended his position on this smaller PPP bill. He had said, quote, "The PPP is a popular program that has saved tens of millions of American jobs. It is so bipartisan that its first round was replenished and extended several times by unanimous consent in both the Senate and the House. But it has become yet another casualty of Democrats' all-or-nothing obstruction." So next week, when the Senate does finally vote on this smaller PPP bill, I'm sure it will decisively, conclusively pass the Senate with no issues, as every Republican is in favor of more funding towards the PPP. Talks are still going on behind closed doors. We're not too cognizant of any groundbreaking development, but of course I am always here to update you guys every step of the way. And no matter what kind of news we see, whether it's positive or negative, I give it to you straight. I don't want to sugarcoat anything or raise your hopes up for no reason. That's what we know as of today, Wednesday, October 14th, 2020. If you did enjoy this video, if you got value out of it, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up, smash the like button. And if you want to see more videos on my channel, I post videos now every single solitary day, covering everything from business to finance, investing, entrepreneurship, mindset, strategy, and tips and tricks from my own experience. I also do these stimulus check and stimulus package updates. So if you're interested in any of those topics, if any of those niches appeal to you, be sure to click that big red button, the subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell as well. That way you're notified every time I do make a new one. Looking forward to seeing you guys in the next video.